Hello students, welcome to video on creating and using objects in C++. In previous video we have seen how to define a class. Now using that class we are going to create objects. In this video we will see how to create an object of a class type, memory allocation for objects, how to calculate size of object in bytes, how to access member functions using object, and sample C++ program using class and object. Now let us see how to create an object. Once a class is defined, the objects created of that type of class. The first step should be defining a class, and once it is defined, you can create. Thus, you can say that the objects are nothing but the variables of the type class. Just like in C language, we are creating variables of basic data types. For example, int x. X is a variable of the type integer. Similar to that, here the object is a variable of the type class. So your class is acting as a data type. In other words, you can say class variables are objects. The variables of class are objects. This is the general form of creating objects. First of all, you have to start with the class name. Whatever the class you have defined, use that class name followed by the list of objects. So this object can be any identifiers. You can create n number of objects, object 1, object 2, and so on. You can create n number of objects ending with semicolon. For example, in previous video we have created class or defined class item. Now using that class item, I am creating here two objects named it1 and it2. So it1 and it2, these two objects are created now of the type class item. So in this way, this is a simple way of creating objects. It is just like creating variables or declaring variables. Similar to the variables, you can create the objects of the type class. Now let us see how the memory is allocated to objects. The memory space for objects is allocated when they are created. So when you create the objects using that format just we have seen, at that time the memory is allocated. The member variables hold different values for different objects. So in the class we have declared various member variables. These are called as data members. Every variable is holding different value, and for that the memory space is required. So every object is having different set of variables or different set of data members, and they are holding different values for different objects. So memory space for member variables is allocated separately for each object. Actually, the memory is allocated to variables, and combinedly it is allocated to object. Every object separate memory space is allocated. Now for members, that is the variables, the memory space is allocated but separately, but for member functions the separate memory space is not allocated for the objects. The common memory space is shared by all member functions for all objects. So in a class, if there are two member functions, so these two member functions will be available in the memory, and they are commonly shared by the multiple objects. So in this way, the objects are having different variables or the memory for variables separately for each object, but for member functions there is no separate memory. It is commonly shared by all objects. Let us understand with the help of diagram or a figure. So here see member function 1 and member function 2. So these member functions are created when functions are declared in a class, and once these member functions are created, these are common for all objects. You may create one object, you may create n number of objects. These member functions, these memory will be common for all objects. Now regarding the objects, let us say object 1 is created. So here the memory is created for object 1, and in that object 1 there are 3 variables, for example variable 1, variable 2, variable 3. So like this, some memory space for variable 1, some memory space for variable 2, some memory space for variable 3, and the total memory space for object 1. So like this, the memory is allocated for object 1. If you create second object, the similar type of memory again will be allocated for object 2. Object 2 is having its own set of variable values, its own separate memory. Again similarly, object 3 is having its own set of variables, and this set of variables are having their own values, and every variable is occupying certain memory space. So in this way, the object 1, object 2 and object 3, every object is separately created in the computer's memory, and they are occupying separate memory space for their own variable set. But for member functions, the common memory space is used. So all these 3 objects will commonly share the memory space of these 2 functions, that is member function 1 and member function 2. So this is the scenario of memory allocation for objects within the computer's memory. Let us understand with the help of example. Now suppose I declared the class item having 3 data members, that is item number of integer type, name of character, that is a string type of data, cost float type of data. So then in the public section I have defined the get data function, member function, then I have declared and defined put data function and end of the class. So this is the complete definition of a class which includes data members, 3 data members and 2 member functions. Now after that, the next step is create objects. So here I have created 2 objects, IT1 and IT2 of the type item. What is item? Item is a class. See here. So class item. So this is the name of the item. So this name of the item I used to create the object IT1 and IT2. So in this way, IT1 and IT2 are the objects of the type class item. Now let us see with the help of diagram how the memory is allocated to these 2 objects IT1 and IT2. Again here the common memory is created for both member functions. The first member function is get data, second member function is put data. So the common memory is created for these 2 functions, and it is common for both objects IT1 and IT2. Now IT1 is created. Here the IT1 object, for the IT1 object the memory is allocated. Actually when the memory is allocated for IT1 object, actually it is allocated for its 3 data members or the variables, item number, then name and cost. So memory for item number, memory space for name, memory space for cost, and this total memory is nothing but the memory for IT1 object. Similarly, the memory is allocated for IT2 object having its own set of variables, item number, name and cost. So in this way the memory is allocated for object IT1 and object IT2. Now let us see how to find the size of object. What is size of object? It is nothing but the memory space required for an object. How much memory space is required for an object? It is called as size of object. It is actually the total memory required for all data members. Whatever the data members, just we have seen in the previous figure, data members means the variables. So the total memory required for data members or the variables is nothing but the total, that is the size of object. Let us understand with the help of example. Again, define the class item. Same class I am taking as an example. In private section, I have declared 3 data members or 3 variables, item number, name and cost. Public section, 2 member functions are declared, get data function and put data function, end of the class. So here now memory will be allocated for these 3 data members for one object. Again the memory for separate memory for 3 data members for another second object, but for this get data and put data common memory will be allocated, just we have seen in the last slide. Now the objects are created, IT1 and object IT2. Now how to calculate the size of object IT1? So size of object IT1. So what is this? Here we have seen it is nothing but the total memory required for all data members. Now which are the data members? Data members are item number, name and cost. Now here it is calculated as size of atom number. Size of atom number means what? The how much memory space, that is the number of bytes, memory bytes required to store atom number variable. It is 2 bytes. Why it is 2 bytes? Because atom number is declared as integer. So for integer 2 bytes are required. Plus size of name. So now name is a character type array. See here, char name 15. So 15 characters. 15 characters means how much memory? 15 bytes. So here 15 bytes memory will be allocated for name data member plus size of cost. So the cost, for cost 4 bytes memory will be allocated. Why? Because cost is declared as of float data type. For float data type 4 bytes memory is allocated. So like this here, what is the total? The total is 2 plus 15 plus 4 is equal to 21 bytes. So here 2 plus 15 plus 21 bytes. This is the total size of object IT1. So in this way you can easily calculate the size of any object. To find the size of any object, it is very simple. Just go on adding the size of individual data member or individual variable, get the total, and that is nothing but the size of object. See in this figure, the IT1 object, the size is 21 bytes, means 21 bytes memory is allocated for object IT1. How this 21 comes? It is nothing but the total of all these 3. That is 2 bytes for item number, 15 bytes for name, plus 4 bytes for cost. So 2 plus 15 plus 4, total 21 bytes. So in this way you can calculate or find out the size of an object, that is the memory space occupied by that object in the computer's memory, which is nothing but the total of the memory space allocated for individual variable or data members. Now let us see how to access the class members. So which are the class members? There are 2 members of the class. One is data members, which are nothing but the variables declared in the class. Second is member functions, which are also known as methods. Now these 2 are the members of the class. Now the object we have created. Now using object, how to access or use or call these data members or member functions. So private class members. So there are 2 types of sections we have seen in the class, private and public. So the rule for private members is different and the rule for public members is different. For let us see first of all the private class members. Not access outside the class. So the object is accessing the class members. So the object cannot access the private class members. Access only through member functions of that class. Who can access private class members? The member functions, those are defined or declared within the class, can access only. For example, in our class, get data and put data, these are the two member functions. These two member functions can access only the class members, that is item number, name and cost. That is the meaning of this private class members. Public class members. In the public class members, now as it is a public, means it is publicly available, it is outside the class, are accessed and using object and dot operator. So these public class members are accessed outside the class using object and dot operator. Accessing member function means calling function using object. What do you mean by access member function? Access member function is nothing but calling member function. In C language, we are calling a member function with the help of its name only. In C++, the member functions are called using object and dot operator. Let us see how the object and dot operator is used to call a member function or to access a member function. So here, this is the general form of accessing class member, that is object dot variable. Now here variable, object dot variable. Which type of variable? Access public variable only. So this variable should not be a private variable. This is very important. Private variables cannot be accessed by the object. Only public variables can be accessed by the object. So how to access public variable or how to access public data member? So it is also called as a data member. So if it is a public data member, then you can access it using object dot variable. Generally, this type of access is not recommended in object oriented programming. You should not go for variables in the public section, or there should not be the data member in the public section. The variables or the data members are always declared in the private section only. But if they are available or declared in the public, you can access, the object can access like this variable, that is object dot variable. Now come to member function. How the member function is accessed? This is the syntax or the general form, object, then this is the dot operator, member function name, in the bracket arguments if there are, and semicolon. So here access public member function. So like this you can access the public member function of the class. For example, here it1 dot get data. What we are doing here? Access member function using object. Which is the object? it1. Which is the member function? Get data, and in between there is a dot operator. Second example, it2 dot put data. Here put data function is being accessed by the object it2. So here we are calling function using object. So these are the two terminologies. You can see here, access member function using object or calling member function using object. You can use these two terms alternatively. So here it1 object is calling get data, it2 object is calling put data member function, or in another words, it1 object is accessing get data member function, or it2 object is accessing put data member function. So this is the general form and example how to access the member function of a class using object. Let us understand with the help of a complete program, C++ program using class and object. So here the program begins with the header file iostream.h, that is input output stream header file. First of all, you have to declare the class. The class keyword, item is the name of the class, beginning of the class. Then in the private section, again declare data members. 3 data members are declared, item number, name and cost. In public section, 2 member functions are declared, get data, put data in the class. So this is class declaration. Now here get and put data are declared only, they are not defined. Now after this class we have to define the member functions. The first member function definition will be of get data. So here this getData function is defined outside the class, and we have seen in the previous video how to define a class, how to define a member function outside the class. Void is the return type, item is the class name, this is the scope resolution operator, that is double colon, scope resolution operator, function name is getData, no arguments, that's why void. This is the body of the function getData. Here this getData function will perform the task of accepting item number, accept name and accept cost. Then the member function definition of second member function, that is putData. So here putData function is defined again outside the class, again same syntax, return type, class name, setter, and function putData, no arguments, and in this the task is what? It is displaying item number, item name and item cost in a particular sequence. Return, empty return, end of the function. Okay, so like this here. Now here the class definition is over. The class is defined. The class is having definition is having two parts. This is on the left side class declaration, on the right side member function definition. The program is not completed yet. We'll continue on the next slide. After complete class definition, we have to write main program. The main program will start, main function will start int main, beginning of the main function. First of all, I will create the IT object. So only one object I have created of the type item. Item is the class name, IT is the object name. So here I have created object IT. Now I am calling getData function because now I want to perform input operation. For input operation, I have defined getData function in which this getData function will accept the values of item number, name and cost. So like this, IT1 object will call getData function using this dot operator. So member function call. Second member function call is IT dot putData, that is the putData function is called using IT object. So like this, there are two function calls, it.getData, it.putData. it.getData will perform input operation. It will get the data from keyboard for the data members, item number, name and cost. PutData will display the values of these three data members. End the main function with return 0. So here, as the return type of main function is int, you have to return some integer value. I am integer value is 0 here. End of the main function. Let us see when you run this program, what will be the output. The output of this program, first of all, IT object will be created. Then IT object will call the getData function. Now getData function is executing here. It will accept, enter, by displaying the message, prompt message, enter item number. Suppose I entered 1045 as item number. Then second scene will be executed. It will accept the item name. Suppose I enter printer. Then it will accept the cost of item. Suppose I enter 12,500. So like this, here the getData function is executed or called by IT object. So these are the three operations performed using getData. Now it.putData will execute. It will display the three values, item number, name and cost. Return 0 means it will end the class, end the program. So this is the complete output of the C++ program in a particular sequence. Now in this video we learn how to create object. The object is created as class name followed by name of object, list of object ending with semicolon. Then we learn how the memory is allocated for objects. In that we learn separate memory space is allocated for each object. If there are multiple objects, every object is having its own memory space. Then for member functions there is a common memory space. Then we learn how to find the size of object. The size of object is nothing but the total memory space required for all data members of that object. Then we learn how to access member function using object or how to call a member function using object. This is the general form, object dot member function and into parenthesis arguments. So these are the points which we learn in this video. how to create and use object in a C++ program. Hope you have understood it very well. Thank you students for watching this video on creating and using objects in C++ program.